Welcome to Season 4 of the Undetected Narcissist Podcast. Your host, Angela Meyer, is here to bring you clarity if you are stuck in confusion, self-doubt, or feel lost without a sense of direction. This podcast is extremely different because Angela comes from a place of wisdom, compassion, and has been able to forgive the unforgivable. She's a mental health professional, trauma-informed, human consciousness guide, and empowerment strategist. She knows one can't truly heal and recover when one is stuck in hate, anger, and fear. One must rise above it, find meaning, understanding, compassion for oneself and the toxic people within our lives. This season is about self-empowerment, self-realizations, and transformation. There is always a blog post supporting this information, so please visit undetectednarcissist.com. So get ready to learn about yourself, others, and find a way to truly live and thrive once again. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we are going to be talking about men who are taught not to feel. Have you ever been told, be strong, don't cry, toughen up? Maybe you were 6 years old, maybe 16, and perhaps you listened. Maybe you built that wall inside you brick by brick until nothing could get in. It's what you were taught was manhood. And maybe it worked for a while, but here's the thing. Walls don't just keep storms out. They keep life out too, which leads me to tell you a story. Okay, the story of the stone wall and the river. There once was a man who lived in a valley where fierce storms often rolled through. From a young age, he was told, if you want to survive here, you must be like the stone wall, unshakable, unmoved. So he built himself high walls with heavy granite, sealed out the wind, the rain, and even the sight of the sky. At first it worked. The storms couldn't touch him. He stood firm, admired for his stoicism. People said, now there's a strong man. But over the years, something unexpected happened. Inside those walls, the air grew stale. Flowers would not grow. Birds no longer visit. And while the storms outside still raged, he realized he had also walled himself off from the sun, the warm breezes, and the sound of laughter. One day, while repairing a crack in his wall, he noticed a river running through the valley. It was gentle in some places, fierce in others, yet always moving, always alive. It carved canyons through rock without shattering, and when the storms came, it swelled, roared, and spilled over, only to return to its calm flow again. The man watched and thought, the river feels everything, yet it endures. It changes, yet it remains. Slowly he began to take down pieces of his wall, not all at once, just enough to let the wind in, the flowers in, the sound of the river in. At first he feared the storms would destroy him, but he discovered something astonishing. The storms passed, and so did the pain. The river taught him that strength wasn't about never feeling. It was about letting life move through you without losing yourself. In time, he became both wall and river, steady when needed, flowing when possible. And for the first time in his life, he felt truly alive. So to the men that are listening now, brother, your strength isn't in how well you can shut the world out. It is in how deeply you can let life in and still stand in your truth. The wall will keep you safe, but the river will keep you alive. You were meant to be both. And this is where we need to talk about stoicism. Not the meme version and not the Hollywood version. The real version, the part that built you, the part that can quietly destroy you if misunderstood. Because for too long, men have been taught to take only half as stoicism, the wall, and to forget the river entirely. Today, I want to talk to the men who are taught not to feel so they can better understand themselves, as well as the people within their lives who care about them. I aim to create a bridge for men who've been taught to armor up emotionally their whole lives, showing them not only why this happens, but also how to lay down their armor and meet their true selves. Therefore, I intend to approach this podcast episode with structure, compassion, and clarity, so that I can speak directly to their hearts and their logic, which is key for breaking through the conditioning. First, I want to read a letter to the man who was taught not to feel, to set the foundation. Hello, I see you. Not the version of you that learned to smile while bleeding, nor the mask you wear so well, not the toughness, the silence, or the jokes that keep the pain at bay. I see you, the boy who never got to cry, the teen who was told to man up, the man who carries it all in silence. Because that's what you were taught. Strength looks like, don't cry. Don't ask for help. Don't be weak. Don't feel too much. But you do feel. You always did. And those feelings didn't die. They just got buried under responsibility, shame, and survival. But buried doesn't mean gone. It just means unseen. And now you're exhausted. You're angry. And you don't know why. A part of you loves, but you don't know how to express it or put it into words. You can be hurting so deeply, but you don't know how to show it or put your pain into words. To survive another day, you numb out because feeling it all feels like too much. But listen closely. You are not weak for feeling. You are wounded for being told not to. You were never supposed to carry it all alone. This was a false belief passed down from generation to generation. The sense of oneness, community, and teamwork got lost in translation. You were never meant to fight your battles in silence. In fact, you were never made to be a machine or robot. Not to sound sappy, but you were born tender, curious, open, and none of that made you less of a man. If you are a parent, you know you were born this way when you gaze into the eyes of your beloved son. Somewhere along the line, the world confused masculinity with disconnection. But this is truth. A man who feels is a man who's alive. A man who cries is a man who cares. A man who seeks healing is a man who leads. You don't have to carry the old stories anymore. As a collective whole, humanity seeks connection to survive, and the disconnected ways of thinking, acting, and behaving are no longer serving humanity, but causing only more harm, separation, and destruction. You don't have to perform strength when your heart is aching, so put your sword down. Now is the time to honor your soul without any human obligations or requirements. Therefore, you don't have to repeat the unhealthy generational patterns of men who were never shown how to honor their authentic selves and heal. You are allowed to feel without fixing, break without failing, speak without fear, heal without shame. The world needs your heart more than your armor. Your partner, your children, your friends, they don't want a shell of you. They want you. Not the invisible man, the authentic one. So take the risk. Let someone in. Allow the decades of tear to come. Let the truth rise. Because the real you, the feeling, open, evolving you is not too much. He is just right. From someone who believes the healed masculine is the key to the healed world. Now, let's be open and honest here. Being a man is not easy, and being a woman is not easy either. We have different rules, expectations, hormones, ways of thinking, processing, and outlooks on life. As a child, a boy is conditioned and groomed at an early age to become a man, aiming to achieve something that the family can be proud, boast about to family members and colleagues. I'm not here to blame your parents and grandparents. They were also groomed and conditioned at such an early age. Think of it as a seed being planted within your mind that grows roots and soon becomes a belief, setting the foundation for your future as a man. Some of you were sent to military school, while others were beaten into submission as their cries and tears were ignored. Others were required to follow the footsteps of their father and grandfather as a rite of passage into more greed, lust, power, and backward ways of thinking. Therefore, I must acknowledge this silent epidemic. Generations of men conditioned to suppress their emotions to survive. You no longer live in the Wild West. And this new earth is calling us home to remember that we can live in a world with more harmony, peace, cooperation, and equality for all. The only battle we must face now is the battle within. This is about freeing you by giving you the tools to explore the box you were handed at birth and told never to open it, because inside the box is your joy, tears, creativity, and tenderness. So this is for the men who have been carrying the weight of that unopened box. It's a metaphor story. When you were born, someone handed you a box. They didn't tell you what was inside. They just told you, don't open it. As you grew, the box got heavier. At first, you asked questions. Why can't I open it? But the answer came sharp and short. And they all started with because. Because real men don't need what's in there. Because real men's feelings make you weak. Because the world will eat you alive if I show you what's inside. The list of because became the recycle and repeat phrase to shut up and comply. This is what my father did, and my grandfather did, and now you do the same. This is how we survive. So you carried the box. You brought it into school, into your first love, into your job, into your marriage. You carried it through victories and losses, through nights alone when no one saw you, and you learned to pretend it wasn't there. But here's the truth. They never told you. Inside the box are your tears and laughter, your joy and your fears, your tenderness, your creativity, your soul's true voice. Inside that box is you. And here's another truth. It was never locked. You can open it any time you choose. So let's explore and unpack how the conditioning happened, the cost of emotional disconnection, breaking the cycle, and discovering your authentic self. Part 1. How the conditioning happened. A gentle unraveling of the roots. All men receive the same generational message, and I'm so happy to report that this trend is slowly dying. Men are saying no more. Why? It is only causing more pain and suffering. Someone must break the cycle of abuse. Yes, abuse because being sent to military school, a strict religious private school, or even being verbally, emotionally, physically, or mentally broken into submission can cause a young toddler, child, or teenager to experience trauma. Trauma, abuse, and bullying do create narcissistic people. So let's explore the generational message, parental and cultural modeling, and the unspoken fear. Generational messaging. We have all heard the saying, be a man. Sorry, that was a little funny. But what does that mean from man to man? It means being strong, not crying, and not showing weakness. This was the historical survival mindset, and we are seeing it in action today with wars, labor, and societal roles that reward emotional numbness. Number 2, parental and cultural modeling. Fathers, uncles, religious figures, and coaches are modeling emotional shutdown. The media portrays stoicism as the only manly trait. Number 3, unspoken fear. Vulnerability seen as unsafe. Fear of ridicule, rejection, losing status. Before we move on to part 2, let's explore why Stoicism is no longer supporting humanity as we transition from the 3D framework to the 4D and 5D mindset. Stoicism has a fascinating dual nature that makes it both a tool for resilience and, when misapplied, a seed for emotional shutdown. Let's unpack it. The healthy side of Stoicism. When understood and applied as intended, Stoicism can deeply be empowering, especially for a man navigating a culture that often equates vulnerability with weakness. So, number 1, emotional resilience. It teaches that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control our response. This helps men avoid being tossed around by life's storm. Number 2, perspective in adversity. It encourages zooming out to see the bigger picture. Pain, hardship, and loss are reframed as opportunities for growth. The key word is reframe, to shift your perspective out of fear and into a deeper understanding of the big picture. 3, values-driven living. It focuses on virtue, integrity, and wisdom over chasing fleeting pleasures or public approval. And lastly, number 4, calm under pressure. It promotes a steady, measured presence in crises, useful in leadership, parenting, and dangerous situations. So here's an example in healthy practice. A man feels the grief of losing a loved one, but uses the Stoic principles to process it slowly, allowing space for tears, while choosing not to let despair define him. Now, the unhealthy side of Stoicism, okay? Modern cultural interpretations, especially in male-dominant spaces, often twist Stoicism into an unhealthy emotional armor. Here's the why and how. 1, emotional suppression, not regulation. Men are conditioned to be strong and don't feel, leading to bottled up emotions. Over time, this can create emotional numbness, depression, and explosive anger. 2, toxic masculinity reinforcement. The media often equates masculineness with cold detachment, like the silent, broody hero archetype. Vulnerability is cast as weakness, pushing men further from healthy intimacy. 3, cutting off empathy. In the name of self-protection, some men stop empathizing with others' emotions, which harms and destroys healthy friendships and intimate relationships. 4, self-isolation. It creates a "I can handle this alone" mindset, which prevents seeking help or building deeper connections with a friend, family member, or intimate partner. Here's an example in unhealthy practice. A man is devastated after losing his job, but tells himself real men don't cry. He shuts down, refuses to talk to loved ones, and quietly spirals into hopelessness. Some men might start day drinking to drown their emotions, get addicted to porn or social media as a form of distraction, or have unexplained bursts of anger or hostility. Others could even pretend that he's going to work because he's too afraid or full of shame to tell his family or partner that he lost his job. Why this matters for men today is the core problem isn't stoicism itself. It's the misinterpretation and the cultural hijacking of the philosophy. Healthy stoicism encourages emotional depth and control. Unhealthy stoicism creates emotional shutdown and relational disconnection. The cost of emotional disconnection will impact and create relationship strain with your partners, friends, feeling unseen, unheard, and unvalidated. It has physical health tolls. Suppressed emotions increase inflammation and heart disease risk. Then there's mental health, depression, anxiety, and addictive behaviors as a coping mechanism. And then lastly, spiritual disconnection, losing the inner compass, feeling hollow even when successful. So, how to reclaim the healthy side. So here is an invitation to feel fully and respond wisely. Here is a practical step that both men and women can apply, and I will use fear as an example. Step 1, name the emotion first. What are you feeling? If you cannot name the feeling, use the chart I created for 3D human consciousness. For example, if you are truly feeling fear, it would align with the behaviors and patterns of feeling restless, irritability, withdrawal, nervousness, guarded, hypervigilant, suspicious, anxiety, worrywart, wishy-washy, fear of failure, second-guessing yourself often, mind stewing over the past usually, and inability to trust anyone. All these negative emotions, thought patterns, and behaviors align with a fear-based mindset. But don't worry, you are in good hands and we can fix this. Step 2, regulate. Sit with that emotion and feel it. Please don't run from it, ignore it, sugarcoat it, or stuff it down. Sit with it as if you were sitting down to chill or relax with a friend. This fear emotion has surfaced for a reason and should not be ignored. So think of it as an opportunity to go within and discover something new. Step 3, separate feelings from behaviors. Acknowledging the feeling of fear doesn't mean acting cowardly. It is being genuine and honest with yourself. We now know the truth, and this fear has been trying forever to get your attention. See that you have the strength to face your fears. Step 4, self-exploration. What is the fear trying to teach you? Why is the fear currently present within your life? How could you look at the fear from a higher perspective? What is the lesson within the fear? Is the fear being created by external situations? If not, then the fear can stem from internal self-doubt or lack of self-worth. Step 5, find the tools within the 4D framework. When you can pinpoint the fear, dive a little deeper. Fear is an illusion of the mind, and it is here to teach us something. Think of the negative emotion as a teacher. It could be trying to teach you how to set healthy boundaries. Speak your truth from an open heart instead of a wounded ego. Perhaps its aim is to help you develop a healthy sense of self and self-esteem. The fear might be here to push you outside your comfort zone and try something new, which could dramatically improve the quality of your life. So here are a few examples around the subject of fear. Perhaps you worry that you're not good enough for your partner because they're complaining that you are not giving them enough attention in the bedroom. You're at a new phase in your life, and you're tired of performing and wearing a mask in the bedroom. Your soul and heart long for intimacy and a deeper connection instead of a superficial one. So having deep conversations, holding hands, snuggling, and bonding hold more meaning and purpose for you. Can and will this person listen without projecting their insecurities upon you? Because this is not about you, but them. Perhaps you fear losing someone you care deeply about or are in love with, but they don't reciprocate your feelings. The fear could be present to encourage you to love yourself more and let this person go, because it is only causing pain and heartache. Perhaps you could become friends instead of trying to force the person to change their mind and love you back. Step out of the human experience and into the soul lesson. Next one. Maybe you got crushed and destroyed by someone narcissistic or a toxic person, and to open up your heart again is scary. The fear can prevent you from forming a healthy connection with another person. Therefore, this fear may be trying to teach you to learn to listen to your intuition and gut, rather than the part of you that fears being alone. Perhaps this fear is trying to encourage you to take the relationship slow, becoming friends first before diving into a committed relationship. And if this person refuses to honor that request, they may not be the right person for you at this time. Next one. Perhaps you fear that you won't get the job you desire, and that fear is trying to teach you to believe in yourself, to be courageous and give it a shot, to stop listening to the negative chatter in your head and connect with your heart. What steps could you take to nail this job? Learning more about the company, their mission statement, products, work ethics, or achievements. Think outside the box and make yourself stand out from the crowd. Next one. What if you made an error in judgment and fear that you effed everything up? Maybe that fear is telling you to step back and learn from your mistakes. And how could you correct them? This takes courage. If you can't fix it, what action steps could you take to smooth the waters and reduce the pressure of the fear of failure? And remember, nobody is perfect, so stop beating yourself up and show yourself some grace and compassion. And then the last one, the fear might want you to have more self-belief, but the self-doubt is holding you back. And if you are a people pleaser, maybe the fear is teaching you that you matter just as much as everyone else, and you are not a doormat. Your time, energy, opinion, money, and feelings matter just as much as the person you want to please. Try to find the diamond within the rubble of fear. Step 6. Allow trusted space. If this is too much for you to handle on your own, please talk to someone you trust. You can explore working with a therapist or speak to a close friend who will listen to you without fear of shame or judgment. And step 7, challenging media role models. The garbage, and you heard me, the trash we see on TV, social media, in magazines, and in advertisements promote only one-dimensional strong man. All the garbage we are sold might make you more appealing on the outside, but the work we are doing here is about inner beauty, substance, and strength. Commit to stop feeding yourself garbage that only leads you to compare yourself to an AI-generated model or buy products that falsely advertise to boost your self-esteem. Remember, less is more. You are enough. Here are some more ideas to break the cycle. It's a step-by-step, practical, and safe entry point. 1. Awareness first. Journal 1 sentence a day about how you actually feel. Recognize when you're defaulting to, I'm fine. Pause. Go deeper. 2. Challenge the comfort zone box. Try one act of emotional expression each week. Tell someone you appreciate them. Cry during a movie without holding it in, saying, I'm scared without shame. 3. Healing the inner boy. Inner child work. Speak to yourself as you would to a young son or nephew when you get mad. Don't beat yourself up or tell yourself to suck it up and be a man. Show yourself the same compassion and support to a young man who was struggling to find his place in this chaotic world of being a man. 4. Body-based emotional release. Mindful practices such as breath work, somatic techniques, and martial arts can help reconnect your feelings and body. Plus, it's a healthy way to release excess stress and built-up anger. And number 5, community and support. You can explore men's groups, therapy, a safe friendship where emotions are welcomed. Now, tips and tools for discovering authentic self/soul connection. Now, these go a little deeper. Noticing the patterns that block your authentic self and which moments allow you freedom. In a journal or with a trusted friend, describe and become self-aware of the shift from wearing a mask and performing manhood to living in truth. When did this shift happen? How did it happen? Why did you finally make that courageous choice? Can you do this with everyone or just a few people? And if so, why? Spiritual practices. Spiritual practices are the key to everyone's mental health and well-being. You can meditate, spend time in nature appreciating the gifts Earth offers everyone. Practice being grateful for the things you discover, and reflect in solitude. Next one, recognizing your intuition and your heart as your guidance system. Learn to trust your gut and listen to its advice. Learn to discern between the voice of the wounded ego that is stuck in the 3D framework and the heart/soul that exists within the 4D and 5D framework. Which one is running your life? Which one opens the door for more joy? And which one slams the door shut? Discernment is key. And lastly, the liberation in realizing strength is not the absence of feeling. It is the courage to feel. Therefore, I have a call of action for you, bros, or as my son would say, bruh. I invite you dudes to take one small step this week and open the box a little. You are worth the change, and your place of power is now. Not in the past or in the future, now. If you need more support, write this affirmation down. You are not broken. You were taught to hide. Now you choose to be seen. So here are the first steps to emotional freedom checklist. And yes, I want to provide you with more tools and tips because I want you to thrive, not just exist. Emotional freedom checklist. Awareness. Once a day, write one honest sentence about how you feel. Notice when you say, I'm fine. Pause, go deeper. Next one, safe expression. Tell someone you appreciate them. Allow yourself to cry when you feel emotional. If the tears want to be released, don't hide them. Inner boy healing. Speak to yourself as you would to a beloved child. Body connection. Try breath work, mindful martial arts, or walking in nature without your phone. Brotherhood and support. Join or form a men's group. Work with a therapist or a coach who understands male conditioning. And last one, soul connection. Ask your heart one question every day. What do you need from me today? Spend 5 minutes a day in silence. Now, are you wondering if I made a free guided meditation for you dudes? The answer is yes. And in a way, I made it for everyone because this process will give everyone the strength they need to weather the storms of life and still be flexible and mindful. What you men are doing is no easy task. You are reprogramming yourself of years of generational trauma, and this takes courage. I believe in you. So thank you for listening and being open to try something new that can and will transform your life. And love and light, Angela Meyer, Carrie Logan.